All right, so are you ready to explore how AI is going to change education?
Hmm.
Because we just did a deep dive into Sal Khan's ideas about the future of learning.
Sal Khan, like the Khan Academy guy.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some fascinating stuff to unpack today.
Awesome, I'm all ears.
So we're looking at excerpts from his book, Brave New Words.
Brave new words, okay.
And we also dug into a transcript from his interview at the Commonwealth Club. It's making waves. Even Bill Gates is excited about his ideas.
Wow, Bill Gates, huh? That's saying something. So what's got everyone buzzing?
Well, today, we're going to explore how AI could personalize learning like never before.
Oh, interesting.
We'll dive into the potential pitfalls, of course, talk about safeguards, and really try to figure out if these changes are going to benefit everyone.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Making sure everyone has access to this stuff.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely tackle that head on. But let's start at the beginning with the Khan Academy origin story.
Okay, take me back.
So picture this. About 20 years ago, Khan's tutoring his cousin Nadia, and he realizes she's not struggling because she's not bright.
Right.
It's because she had some gaps in her knowledge.
Yeah, I see, like missing pieces of the puzzle.
Exactly, and that was a real aha moment for him.
Makes sense.
It got him thinking, could technology help create a learning experience that's tailored to each individual student?
I mean, that would be revolutionary, wouldn't it? Meeting each student exactly where they're at.
And that's where the whole mission of Khan Academy comes in. Their goal is free, world-class education for anyone, anywhere.
That's ambitious.
It is. But how do you actually personalize education on a global scale? That's where AI comes in.
AI, huh? I knew we'd get there eventually.
Well, get this. Khan himself was skeptical about AI in education at first.
Oh, really?
But then he encountered GPT-4, and it blew his mind.
GPT-4, that's one of the most powerful AI models out there.
Exactly. It made him totally rethink the possibilities. He started imagining every student with an AI tutor.
Like a personal tutor for every single student.
Yeah, and every teacher with an AI teaching assistant.
Whoa, now that's a game changer. So teachers wouldn't be replaced.
That's Khan's point. AI would enhance teaching, not replace it. Teachers are already superheroes juggling so many roles.
Yeah, okay.
He sees AI as taking some of that burden off, giving teachers more time to do what they do best.
Makes sense. More time for things like mentoring, inspiring, and really connecting with the students.
Exactly, building those relationships. So Khan Academy is taking this seriously. They developed an AI-powered tutor called Khanmigo.
Khanmigo, okay. What's that all about?
It uses something called the Socratic method to guide students, asking questions to help them arrive at the answer themselves.
Oh, I like that. It encourages critical thinking.
That's the idea. It's like a tutor who knows how to nudge you in the right direction without just giving away the answer.
Very cool. So how is it working in real life? I'm curious to see if it lives up to the hype.
Well, Khan shared some pretty interesting examples. His daughter used Khanmigo to actually talk to characters in a story she was writing.
Whoa, hold on. She's talking to fictional characters. How is that even possible?
It's like having a whole cast of virtual characters to bounce ideas off of, helping her develop her plot.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, AI is pretty good at mimicking human conversation these days. Still, it's pretty wild to imagine.
It is. And there's another example that blew my mind. Imagine a student studying The Great Gatsby and being able to actually have a conversation with a simulated Jay Gatsby.
Whoa, that's next level. I mean, I wish I had that back in high school.
Right. They could ask him anything about his motivations, his relationships, anything. It would totally change how they understand the book.
Yeah, that's not just reading a book anymore. It's like stepping right into the story. But I do have to ask, what about cheating?
That's a good question and a big concern, right?
Yeah.
Can we stop students from just using AI to get the answers?
I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head, honestly. It's great if AI can help students learn, but what's to stop them from just taking the easy way out?
Well, Khan emphasizes that Khanmigo isn't designed to be a cheat sheet. It's got built-in safeguards to prevent misuse.
Okay, so what kind of safeguards are we talking about?
For one thing, teachers and parents can monitor the conversations. They can see what's being discussed.
That makes sense. So there's some transparency there. What else?
It also flags any potentially dangerous content and has super strict privacy protocols.
So protecting students' information.
Khan calls this educated bravery, acknowledging the risks while moving forward responsibly.
I like that. It's about taking calculated risks, right? Not just throwing caution to the wind. We need to be smart about this.
Exactly. But there's another big question, and it's a tough one. Cost. how do we make something like Khanmigo accessible to every student?
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room. I mean, AI this sophisticated can't be cheap to run. How do we make sure this doesn't just benefit wealthy schools and families?
It's a valid question for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, AI education has to be affordable if we want to make a real difference, right?
It can't just be another perk for the wealthy. Exactly. Khan gets that. I mean, his whole thing with Khan Academy has always been about free education.
Yeah, but can something this advanced really be free?
Well, there's actually some promising news on that front. First off, the cost of running these AI models, it's coming down fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As the technology gets better, those computational costs aren't such a big deal anymore.
That makes sense. I guess I was imagining, huge server farms and just like massive expenses.
And to make things even better, Microsoft is jumping in. They're providing resources to help U.S. teachers use Khanmigo.
Oh, wow. That's big. So it's not just Khan Academy going it alone.
Nope, it's becoming a real team effort. Khan Academy is working with tech companies, they're working with educators, and their ultimate goal, to make Khanmigo free for everyone, everywhere.
That's amazing. A totally free AI tutor for every student.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream. Okay, I want to circle back to this creativity thing for a minute. You mentioned AI helping us become more creative. How does that actually work? I'm having trouble picturing it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mind bender. The idea isn't that AI replaces human creativity, but that it gives us a boost. Think of it like having a brainstorming buddy.
Okay, brainstorming buddy. I can kind of see that.
Have you ever gotten stuck writing something? Or maybe trying to come up with a new idea for, I don't know, a project at work?
All the time. Writer's block is the worst.
Right. Well, AI could help you break through that. It could suggest different approaches, make connections that you hadn't thought of. It could even just listen to you ramble and then help you refine your ideas.
So it's like a sounding board, but like a super smart sounding board that can access like all the information in the world.
Pretty much. Khan believes that both human creativity and AI, they both rely on existing knowledge and experience. But AI, it can just process that information so much faster.
That's wild. It makes you wonder if we're all going to be writing best-selling novels and composing symphonies soon.
Maybe. But I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool. It can amplify our creativity, but it's up to us to use it wisely.
So it's not about replacing human creativity, but enhancing it.
Yeah, gotcha. Now let's talk about Khan's vision for, well, the whole education system. I mean, he's got some pretty radical ideas, right?
He does. He wants to completely ditch the traditional time-based model, where students go from algebra the first to algebra the second and so on. He thinks it's totally outdated.
Yeah, just moving kids along based on how many years they've been sitting in a classroom, it doesn't make sense. But what's his alternative?
He calls it a competency-based system. Students would progress based on actually mastering skills and knowledge, not just seat time.
It sounds good on paper, but I can imagine a ton of pushback from, well, pretty much everyone. How do you even measure competency in a fair way?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge for sure. And what about college admissions? Would colleges just throw out their traditional requirements? It's a big question mark. But Khan believes that a competency-based system would lead to a much richer, more meaningful learning experience.
So students would be focused on really understanding the material, not just memorizing it for a test. Exactly. And he points to Western Governors University as an example. It's a fully accredited online university that's already operating on a competency-based model.
Really? I had no idea. So this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky theory. There are actual institutions making this work.
It's happening, and it shows that there's real demand for this kind of education. Now, I do want to circle back to a concern we touched on earlier, this idea that AI could actually make the whole echo chamber problem even worse.
Yeah, it's a scary thought. If AI just feeds us more of what we already believe, it could really limit our perspectives.
Khan's aware of that risk, and he emphasizes the importance of designing AI systems that actually promote critical thinking and open-mindedness.
So how do you do that? How do you make sure AI isn't just narrowing our worldview?
Well, he gave a really interesting example. He talked about how Khanmigo actually challenged a student's views on gun control.
Really? How did that go down?
So instead of just presenting one side of the issue, Khanmigo actually prompted the student to think about the historical context of the Second Amendment.
Wow, so it was encouraging the student to dig deeper, to see the issue from multiple perspectives.
Exactly, and to consider different viewpoints. It's about using AI to foster intellectual curiosity, not just to reinforce pre-existing beliefs.
That's a huge distinction, and it's really encouraging to hear. Okay, let's shift gears one last time and talk about assessment. I mean, if AI is going to change how we learn, it's got to change how we measure what we've learned, right?
100%. Khan is not a fan of standardized tests. He thinks they're way too narrow and don't capture the full picture of what a student knows and can do.
Yeah, it's like trying to measure a symphony with a ruler. So what does Khan propose instead?
He believes that AI can help us create much more sophisticated and authentic assessments. Imagine AI being able to analyze a student's essay, not just for grammar and spelling, but for the quality of their arguments, the depth of their analysis, their creativity.
Wow, it's like having an expert tutor who can give personalized feedback on every aspect of your work.
And it's not just essays. AI could evaluate complex projects, simulations, all sorts of things that actually reflect real-world skills.
That's exciting. I mean, it could completely change how we think about assessment. It wouldn't be about memorizing facts anymore. It'd be about applying knowledge and solving problems.
And the best part, AI could tailor assessments to each student's individual learning needs and styles, so you'd have a truly personalized learning experience from start to finish.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about everything from AI tutors to competency-based education to a whole new approach to assessment. I have to ask, what are your big takeaways from all this? Are you feeling optimistic about the future of learning?
I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic. Khan's vision is incredibly ambitious, and there are definitely a lot of challenges ahead. But I think he's asking the right questions. He's pushing us to think big and to reimagine what education could look like in the age of AI.
And most importantly, he's reminding us that technology is just a tool. It's up to us to decide how we use it and to make sure that it benefits all learners.
I'm definitely feeling that cautious optimism too. It's all so exciting, but it's easy to get swept up in the hype and forget about the potential downsides. Like you said, what about those digital divides? Can we really ensure that AI education benefits everyone, not just those who already have access to the latest technology?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something that Khan is very aware of. He's not naive about the challenges. Just because we develop these amazing AI tools doesn't mean they'll automatically reach every student who needs them.
It would be a real shame if AI just ended up widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. You know, those who have access to these incredible learning resources and those who don't.
We have to be really intentional about how we implement AI in education. It can't just be a top-down approach. We need to involve communities, teachers, parents, everyone, to make sure that no one is left behind. So where do we even begin? What are some of the concrete steps we can take to make AI education more equitable?
Well, first and foremost, we have to address the digital divide. That means investing in infrastructure to make sure that everyone has access to reliable, high-speed internet.
Yeah, that's a basic necessity in today's world, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like electricity or running water. You can't participate fully in society without it.
And it's not just about the hardware. We also need to focus on digital literacy skills. Teaching people how to use technology effectively, how to navigate the online world safely, how to critically evaluate information.
It's like a whole new set of essential skills for the 21st century.
Exactly. And it's something that we need to start teaching from a young age. We need to make sure that all students are equipped to thrive in a world where technology is increasingly integrated into every aspect of our lives.
I love that idea. Equipping students not just to use technology, but to really understand it, to be critical thinkers about technology. But there's something else that's been on my mind too. We've talked a lot about access and equity, which are crucial, but what about making AI education engaging? I mean, can you really get kids excited about learning from a machine?
That's a great point. And honestly, it's something that I think we're still figuring out. AI education can't just be about cold, hard data and algorithms. It has to be about creating experiences that are fun, interactive, and relevant to students' lives.
So it's not just about stuffing information into their heads, but about sparking their curiosity, making them want to learn more.
Exactly. And I think that's where the human element comes in. Teachers will always be essential, even in a world where AI plays a larger role in education.
I totally agree. Teachers are the ones who can create those connections, who can inspire students, who can make learning come alive. AI can be a powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for the human touch.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI in education, I think the key takeaway is this. AI has the potential to revolutionize learning, but it's up to us to make sure that revolution is equitable, engaging, and ultimately human-centered.
We need to be thoughtful, we need to be intentional, and we need to work together to create a future where AI empowers all learners to reach their full potential.
And that's a future worth fighting for. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
If you're as fascinated by this topic as we are, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the conversation going. The future of education is in our hands, and together, we can make it something truly amazing.